Coming up in today's video, WWE has revealed another huge announcement, but this is one that I think a lot of people will actually be a big fan of. Also, in addition to that, we're going to talk about the real reason for a title change that took place last night. And yes, we are going to talk about a former WWE superstar who made their debut in MMA and was successful. I was a critic, but now today I gotta eat my words. And as always, if you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to click that follow button and subscribe. We are going to hit 100,000 subscribers. It's going to happen eventually, but if you guys can help me get there, I would greatly appreciate it. So I want to kick things off today with Gable Steveson. So obviously, I have been very critical of Gable Steveson, right? Went to the WWE. At some points, he looked pretty impressive. It seemed like he was going to catch on. At some points in his WWE career, it felt like WWE, regardless if it was Vince McMahon era or TKO era, it felt like Gable Steveson was going to be a big part of their future. And of course, that didn't happen. And then there was rumors of him going to the NFL, which was crazy because then he eventually signed with the Buffalo Bills and then he was cut from the NFL. He just wasn't able to figure it out or whatever it may be. He wasn't able to make it work. Then there was videos surfacing of him training with John Jones, who is a legendary MMA fighter. And I got to give it to you guys. I was very, very critical. I was very critical of this. And I said the reason why I was critical was because Gable Steveson at this point, between going back to college to wrestle, the Olympics, this, that, whatever. I mean, we know he is a fantastic wrestler. We've seen it with our own eyes. You don't win an Olympic medal without being very skillful. But out of all these things he tried, it just felt like nothing was clicking. And so I said, MMA is a lot tougher than just wrestling. MMA is a lot tougher than professional wrestling. It's tougher than WWE. MMA is a real sport. This is, you are going to feel those punches. And Gable Steveson debuted at LFA last night and was successful. And he did it by punching. Like, he didn't do a submission or anything like that. It wasn't his wrestling game that got him the win. It was his ground and pound, which was very, very significant. And, listen, LFA, it's not the MMA capital, right? It's not UFC, but LFA, Legacy Fighting Alliance, it's kind of like a feeder system into the UFC. I think that's a good way to kind of describe it. He went in there, he beat Braden Peterson in the first round. He got the TKO. I mean, he looked good. Honestly, he looked pretty damn good. Now, obviously, you can expect him to get more competition as he continues this, but there is a good chance that Gable Steveson may have found his footing with MMA. And so far from the MMA community, it seems as if a lot of people kind of expect him to do well after getting that glimpse of a performance. You got to be careful with overhyping MMA fighters, but I think this is one of those situations where things will end up working out fine. That brings us to our next topic. Ladies and gentlemen, Dominik Mysterio, he made history. He has become the AAA Mega Champion. He did it at Worlds Collide against Vikingo. Yes, he did it in a heel fashion, but this was incredible. And if you guys watched Worlds Collide, the response from the internet wrestling community has been overwhelmingly positive. Now, before I tell you guys the real reason why Dominik Mysterio won, I just want to let you guys know that I thoroughly enjoyed watching Worlds Collide. I don't like pay-per-views being on a Friday night. I understood the reason why they did that, especially because Saturday tonight we have TKO, WWE, and UFC promoting Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. But as an individual who was watching this pay-per-view, I felt like a lot of the booking decisions, a lot of the matches were fun, but Dominik Mysterio beating Vikingo was absolutely incredible. The way they did it was incredible. And what was really dope was having Rey Mysterio obviously put the belt around his waist and then the Judgment Day and everybody getting involved post-match. However, the real reason why Dominik Mysterio won, it takes you back to a video that I made several months ago. There was rumors that WWE really, really, really wanted to get behind AAA as a company. And one of the reasons why they want to get behind AAA as a company is obviously you could tie it into the other events of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and of course WWE pay-per-views. And as WWE competes with AEW, this is another way of, hey, we can do Worlds Collide and maybe we could go head to head with an AEW pay-per-view kind of thing, right? There's a lot of reason as to why WWE wanted to get behind AAA. And then, of course, there's the money aspect, right? AAA could be another WWE entity with a television deal in America, which, by the way, is rumored to be coming soon. So, why Dominik Mysterio? Well, one, Dominik Mysterio is incredibly young and incredibly over. In WWE months ago, there was a report that WWE wanted Dominik Mysterio to kind of be the face of AAA. They wanted WWE to have a WWE star that's a young and up and comer to be the face of AAA to help usher in this new era for WWE and AAA. And part of that means Dominik Mysterio is the perfect guy to do it. Whether he's a heel or a babyface, we know he can do both. We know he's incredibly over, but also he is a Mysterio. Rey Mysterio never won the Mega Championship. So this is history, right? There's a lot of reasons as to why it makes sense, but I'm glad WWE did this. I love Vikingo and I think he's awesome, but I think Dominik Mysterio holding both belts, the visual, everything about it was just flawless. And I think because WWE was able to do that in such a great way, it just makes sense. And I really just want to give Dominik Mysterio his credit too, man. I always believed Dominik Mysterio would be a future world champion. And I said it the days that he debuted, during the pandemic era. I said, I think a lot of people are trying to criticize him because he is Rey Mysterio's son, but don't be shocked if one day he becomes a world champion. He was already showing a lot of good stuff, and he's still not even perfect by any means, but this kid is just constantly getting it. He understands it so well, and it just makes a lot of sense for them to do this. And that brings us to our final topic, ladies and gentlemen. WWE is rebuilding the Performance Center. In fact, they're building a new one. Triple H announced that the company is in the process of building a new Performance Center, also located in Orlando, Florida. And it's being designed to be even bigger and better than the one that they currently have. Now, Triple H, Paul Levesque was on Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco, and he was asked about the current WWE Performance Center, and he confirmed its location and then revealed plans for the new facility. It is in Orlando. He did confirm that. He claims very specifically it's going to be bigger and better. Now, you guys might be wondering, why is WWE building a bigger and better performance center? Well, for one, NXT performs in the performance center. This is where they do live television every week. You build a bigger and better one, that means you can also have more fans in attendance. Also, in addition to that, when you have talent from, the AAA coming in, you have Evolve, you have NXT, Raw, SmackDown, you have TNA's partnership and Pro Wrestling Noah's partnership. All of those things, just from the professional wrestling side, it's pretty much a big reason as to why you need it. But one thing that we're not talking about either is the UFC Apex. The UFC Apex in Las Vegas is being rebuilt into something even far larger, where you can have maybe 5 to 10,000 fans in attendance. So for UFC fight nights at the Apex, or for NXT pay-per-views, for WWE shows, whatever it may be, they TKO is kind of figuring it all out. I don't think touring is going to be as big of a deal anymore. It sounds crazy, but I think what we're going to start seeing is there's going to be certain cities where certain venues where those just kind of become the place that WWE goes to. And I don't think that happens in a year or two, but I think it's a big way to save money for TKO. And then when you do pay-per-views or whatever it may be, that's when you kind of decide to go to different venues. But the new performance center, I think, is a great idea. I'm curious to see how it's going to look. And maybe that means NXT will have a whole new visual, which would be nice. So we'll see how it all goes down, ladies and gentlemen. That's the Angle Show. Thank you for watching.